Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with obsidian and flint. He's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrived back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground. Each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With a flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. What's today? Thursday? Let me see. Yeah, today's Thursday, which is a challenge night. Challenge night. I'm going to be doing this one in that case. Yeah. This challenge rock here, Mystery Jasper. I napped these last night from slabs, but I just took off the square edges. They're not done yet. I made that. I'll finish that out. I'll finish this off. Or, let's see. I will finish this off camera. Yeah. I didn't touch it yet. I probably will try to make the notches more symmetrical. Mess with the notching a little bit. And sharpen it up at the tip. Oh, let's see. Yeah, challenge night. We're going to work on these little slabs. If I finish this quickly, which I hope, I'll work on the slabs on the other pieces. Yeah. Nothing huge. I don't like really big points. So if you're expecting large blades, you need to change the channel. Yeah. Not only are you in the wrong place, but we don't want you here. No. Hey, JV's here. First one. Chris Cox is here. Mr. Jim Dawkinstein. Your laughter. Hey. Hello. Mac Bales says evening. Are we experiencing some lag time? Dang it. Let's see. Chris Cox is here. Mr. Jim Dawkinstein. We'll probably have a little bit of a lag. Alan Cole is here. TJ and Soul. Joshua Dean. Back again. You know how good we would all be doing if we could nap as good as Jack. Ha. Thanks for the compliment. Jesse Garcia is here. Who else? The Feathered Frontiersman. Hi, Pat. What was that beautiful piece you just did? I missed it. You missed it? I made this yesterday. Last night. You were here last night, weren't you? Or did you miss it? You're not supposed to miss these. No. What is the material? It's a material that did not break. Yeah. Is it Paleo Thursday? No, it's not Paleo Thursday. No, I don't have a Paleo Day. Yep. I do not have a... Hey, Western Ninja's here. What's up? All the way from New Mexico. Mike Mason is here. What else? Who else? Yes, that one, that's it. Chris Cox says it's beautiful. Yeah, that's what kind of material it is. Bird Point Thursday? Maybe so. I do Bird Point Fridays. Yeah. Right? I'm thinking I'm going to do Bird Point Fridays. If I don't forget. KRYT. That Jasper Byface looks San Patrici. But I'm biased since that's my favorite point. Ah, I see. Yeah. Ed Gould is here. Ed is in the house. Jesse, hey. Jesse Yucky Napper. Yeah, it's obsidian. Everything's obsidian. Drifting Flame says hello. Graylin Landry is here. Good evening. One-eyed dog. I just made it in. Bird Point Friday sounds good. Yeah, I think I'm going to do Bird Point Fridays. Right? I got it written down. Do I not have it written down? Because if I don't, I'd be in big trouble. I got to write this stuff down. These are all questions that I have immediate answers for. Advice for new nappers. What is it? What are you doing? That kind of thing. I haven't written down what's on each day. So if I don't do that, I'll forget. Because most days, everything's a brand new day. Alright, so on Monday, it's Rock the Point. So Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, Sunday is the same. It's a natural tool. Natural tool. Tools. Monday is Rock the Point. Rock 2 point. Tuesday challenge. Challenge rocks. I got a bunch of challenge rocks that people have sent me. Thursday, same thing. Challenge. That's tonight, right? So people sent me these slabs. So Wednesday is slab day. And I think Friday's going to be bird points. Yep. There you go. That's the schedule. Can you read it? No? That's my fast writing. Yeah, my fast, sloppy, and terrible. Yeah, fast is fudged. Anything fast is fudged. Yes. I used to tell my family that because that's what would happen. Why did it fudge? Why did you get it all fudged up? Because I did it fast. Yeah. Let me see. TJ says, Patrick, can you draw that lateral tri-spear birdie points? You're funny. Sam Drake says hi. Fastest fudge boy. Yeah. Yep, Mr. Jim, that's true. Yep. What else? No questions yet? Easton says, hey. Yep, so it's time for the challenge. Yeah. So, what do we got going? What do we got going on? We still need the 3/8 inch copper. Hopefully no one will ask me what my tools are this time around. I don't have it written down to give you a really fast spiel. Yeah, if I have it written down, I don't have to think about it. But if I don't have it written down, I've got to think about it. I often say stuff that is incorrect. Like I'll say 5/16 for this, but it's not. It's 3/8. But I won't hear myself unless I pay attention to what I'm saying. And that takes a lot of energy for me. And I can't hear myself. I say stuff that's wrong. My subconscious does not know how to speak correctly. No, it's weird. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is a heat treat. Sometimes I think it is. Sometimes I think it isn't. It's just a rock. That's all it is. I like that expression. It's just a rock. It's a rock that hopefully won't break. That's what kind of rock it is. Yeah. How do you make it not break? Well, the first and best rule for not breaking it is don't make anything cool. Don't make it thin. Don't put notches in it. Don't make any fancy parallel flaking. Don't flute it. And don't make it look like something that's cool out of the archaeological record. That's how you not break it. Don't thin it down. Did I say don't thin it down? So that's how you don't break it. Okay? If you follow those rules, the chances are you will not break it. So you need something thick, something not in the archaeological record. No specific kinds of flaking, just random stuff. Okay? Got it? Good. And did I say thick? So if you want to not break it, it's got to be thick. It's your own invention. No notching. No snap and half-inch material. Nothing challenging. Okay? But people don't want to hear that. I've been thinking of what to tell them for years. How to not break it. And I've been thinking about how do I answer that in a scientific way, like angles and forces and material properties and physics and fracture mechanics. But you know what? That's not how you not break it. Yeah. The way you don't break it is don't make anything cool. That's how you don't break it. Got it? Got it. Thank you. I'm going to make that into a short video. Yeah. Dude, I want to know. Please tell me. Dude, don't stop joking around. I want to know how not to break it. Please. I know you're joking. I'm not joking. I am not joking. See, I've been hesitating to say that over the years because that's just something that people don't want to hear. I bet you they didn't even hear it. They heard the womp, 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 Charlie Brown teacher sounds when I say that. People hear Charlie Brown teacher sounds when I say, if you don't want to break it, don't make anything cool. All they hear is womp, 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 womp. Right? That's it. I don't know what to do. I've done my best. Oops. All right. Yeah. One other thing too. Don't take that last flake. Don't say, okay, one more flake. Just one more flake. Don't take that last flake. Do not take it. Yep. If you take it, you will break it. That's the rule. Somebody said 50-50. 50-50 what? Jesse says, and if you have limited rock resources, don't make paleofluted points that have 45% chance of breakage. Yeah, I know. Sometimes more than that. If you use snap and halfish stuff, or stuff that likes to dive in, some obsidians are terrible for that. Silver sheen. What? No, I didn't say nothing. Etc. You don't want to flute those. Yeah. So what am I doing with this? I'm just randomly flaking opportunistically. Yeah. Opportunistic flaking. If you want consistent flaking with consistent edges, with consistent technique, with consistent tools, with consistent attitudes, go over to the flake over grind. Because over there's no sweat stage. There's no preliminary thinning, secondary thinning, unless you count, the creating convexity and stuff like that. Etc., etc. You don't have to worry about any of this stress. I have a good friend, Ben, who he teaches people how to do the fog napping, right? And they're able to make stuff that's consistent. You do have to build up some pressure flaking strength because it's like 80% pressure flaking. In fact, I don't think Ben does any percussion at all nowadays. If it needs percussion, he says, no, I'm just grinding it. And then take a pressure flake. Long pressure flakes. He's built up that strength to push off these these narrow 2-inch flakes. Oh, yes. So you can just grind it down and flake right over it and generate these really long, narrow flakes. And they can go in parallel. They can go oblique. They can even go in Z patterns. Although I very rarely see the fog nappers attempt the Z patterns. I don't know why. I have no idea why they don't do those. What's a Z pattern flaking? Don't worry about it. You need to be around nappers for at least 10 years before you understand that one. Yep. Or, maybe not that long. Some guys pick up everything right away within the first 2 weeks. I don't understand that. They know everything within the first 2 weeks. Like, what's the rarest stone? And they want it for sure. Like, primo heat treat red jasper, for instance. Okay? They all know about that stuff for some reason. No one can ever get it, but they know about it. I don't know how. And then in stuff like, what I just mentioned, now I forgot. They know all this stuff that usually takes people forever to figure out. And they haven't even napped much at all. Maybe 20 pounds of rock. That's it. But they know the internet culture already. And they can recite it backwards and forwards. Yeah. They know everything about natural tools. What can be used from what rocks. What antlers work best with what rocks. Because they heard it on the internet. What techniques work best for certain point styles? Yeah. And what is the technology? What technologies existed? Especially them special flake technologies. You can define, I think you can define a technology by one flake style. Yeah. Oh, that's a flake from such and such time period. It's a technology. That one flake, yeah. If the debitage or the point has that one flake, that's a technology. Yeah. Hey, dude, you're making fun of people tonight, man. What's up with that? You got problems with somebody today? You got a problem with that? No problems. Actually, today was an excellent day. Very excellent. The weather was great. I got out and I did some yard work, right? I even lit a fire. I had a fire going for a little while. Finally, after 2 years of not having no fire. Worked on some bows. I finally broke into that Osage stave that Jesse gave me. I'm trying to skin off some of the sapwood because it's cracked, right? I'm developing a video series. So there'll be like a time lapse before and after. I'm not going to show the progress on the bow until I get it done. And then I've got all these videos that'll be generated, and I'll just, piece them all together and speed them up, Yeah, I'll do some video editing. Yeah, I'm learning how to do video editing in my spare time. Yeah, like in the mornings when I get up, when I don't feel good. Why don't I feel good? Because I want to go back to bed. Yeah. Many years I was not able to sleep in. Yeah, for many years I was not able to sleep in at all. So now I can sleep in now. Yeah. So even though I'm rested, I'm still grumpy when I get up. Yeah. Can't win. Grumpy because not enough sleep, and then grumpy because I wanna stay in bed longer. Yeah. Finally. Yep. So this is the easy part, right? We now have a preform. Now comes the hard part. So I gotta take the chat. Jesse says, Pat, I got your adzes from the auction. I missed the auction and Alan let me know. The adzes with antler bits. I'm excited. Good. Try the antler bits. They are axis deer, all of them. All that stuff I changed over to axis deer just so I can test them out. I'm making some new adzes. Okay. I'm going to use cherry wood this time. I used live oak last time. Both those pieces, both the handles on the adzes are live oak from Texas. Okay, so just in case you're wondering, because, knowing the wood type makes you a better adze user. Yeah. Tree of Heaven is soft, so it should work well. Tree of Heaven is soft, so it should work well for what? The adzes should be, the handles for the adzes should be as hard as possible and heavy as possible. I don't know what that was for. Ever use mule deer antler? Oh yes, it's very good. Yeah, it's very similar to whitetail. You just got to make sure that the mule deer is well taken care of and well fed, or the antlers will be soft. The hardest antlers, the best whitetail deer antlers that I've ever received as gifts are from Iowa. I don't know what they're feeding the deer up in Iowa, but those antlers were primo. I remember that. I don't know why I remember that, but I'm like, dang it, these antlers are good. So it depends on what they're eating. Yeah, for some reason they got like fortified plants up in Iowa. I don't know. In Texas, the whitetail deer antlers are not that great. And they're small. I've used mule deer. Mule deer works very similar to whitetail. But again, if the deer is stressed and malnutritioned or whatever, the antlers are not going to be good. They're going to be soft. KR says, yeah, Iowa whitetails are built different compared to Texas. Oh, yeah. Texas whitetails are basically petting zoo animals, unless they're on a special ranch that breeds the trophy whitetails. Otherwise, if you see whitetails out on the side of the road or whatever, just grazing on grass on the side of the road, those are just petting zoo animal types. you know, and then they got limps and stuff. They got little eyeballs that flicker, like they got little brain damages. Yeah. They're not that healthy. Anyways, how do I know this? I spent 35 years in Texas. I know. I've seen them. I've seen them up close. My brother-in-law's got them in his backyard, and we can practically feed them by hand. We're not supposed to, but we're out on the back porch and just throwing out little pieces of bread and crackers and stuff, and they come right up there. 5 feet away. They make sure that they're at least 5 feet or 6 feet. They're 6 feet away, just like COVID. Because they know about COVID. Yeah. You didn't know that? Well, they act like they do. They stay just out of range. So you can't get them. Can't pounce on them and have yourself free dinner. Anyways. Yeah, I've seen many deer antlers. I've got a friend who's a taxidermist, so I was able to try a bunch of stuff. And the axis deer is the most consistent. It's just not big. The axis deer antlers are not big. They're not like moose. The antlers they don't get that big around. But they're dense. I like it. I like them. See, this is axis deer. I beat the crap out of rocks on Saturday, Sunday with this sucker. Oh, yes. And this is Texas. This is like one of the best antlers from Texas. I'm amazed. Double Texas. That's the best antler I can get from Texas, apparently. Yeah, it's on an exotic ranch. That's where I got that from. I got that from an exotic ranch. Because they just shed the antlers every year. That's a shed. But it was picked up immediately. Yeah, it wasn't left out in the elements for too long. Those elements, they'll get to it. Oh, yes. You don't want an antler with elements. No. What are you talking about? Bro, you need to be scientific about this. People are serious. We got some serious people in the audience. What's up with you? You don't want to scare them away. They're not going to take you serious. You know what? Maybe I don't want them to. Yeah. Have you thought about that? How about that? Hey, Jeremy says hi, everybody. Let's see. Charles Rooker. Hey. Let's see. He says, you explain how many pounds of rock you have to break to get good. I want to know how many Band-Aids it took for you to get good. Oh, dang. I don't go by Band-Aids. I go by packages. Yeah, I go by packages of Band-Aids. Where's my latest package? Oh, I don't have my latest package. I buy them by the 150 pack. Okay? So I went through at least 450 packs. 4 packs of 150 Band-Aids before I could get good. I used to cut myself right here on these fingers every single time I napped. And then I would wrap duct tape around my fingers. And it would still cut me, especially right here. I don't get those anymore. That was weird, right? At first, when I did indirect percussion, I cut myself constantly right there on the inside of my middle finger, inside of my ring finger. Wrap my fingers with duct tape first, and then I wore gloves, and those gloves, before these fancy rubberized ones came out, I used to wear gardening gloves because that's the only thing that was available. And those would get chewed up within a few days. Yeah. And then I would spend lots of money on the special gardening gloves, the really good ones, and they would last a couple of weeks instead of a couple of days. Yeah, I would always wear out the fingertips on those gardening gloves. These gloves nowadays, they're super extra special califragilistic. I'm amazed at how good they are these days. Things changed. You guys weren't around. A lot of you guys weren't around when we had to suffer through bad gloves. Let's see. Let me see. What else we got? Let's see. Jesse says, my axis deer I got from a friend on Lanai was small diameter too. Made nice indirect stick and pressure flakers, but not billets. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, hard brown antler, not chalk white antler. That's the way you tell, yes. But, you know, most of the time, you can't get hard brown antler unless you cut it off the skull. Yeah, from a deer that's been shot. But, you know, if it's a fresh shed, it kind of works. It's still kind of weak because it has to get weak in order to be shed. You know what I mean? You want part of the skull on the deer antler if you want to build it. Yeah. It's best to have part of the skull. The skull is one of the hardest bones on an animal, on at least animals with antlers. Other animals, I'm not sure. But yeah. Especially elk. If you can use elk antler as a billet, but you need to have part of the skull attached. So don't use elk sheds. And whenever I say that, there's a big, oh no, I just got a deal. I thought it was a deal I got from a friend of mine. He sold me a bunch of elk sheds. He says they were awesome and stupendously fantastic for napping. Yeah, got duped. Without the skull, you know, for billets. You can still use the elk for billets. Yeah. I mean, no one says no one says you have to use the perfect tools. You can use elk sheds, but they're not going to be anything compared to the elk antlers attached to the skull. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Let's see, can I heat treat chert on a propane grill in sand? Yes. How good of a propane grill user are you? Are you a novice? Because if you're a novice grill user, then I would say no. You got to know what you're doing. You got to have a keen eye for constant temperature, because you can ruin that rock with any type of temperature change. I think it's like 15 degrees temperature change, or drastic temperature change. It's not very much. I think 15 degrees is enough to crack the stone. I could be wrong. I forget what it is exactly. So you got to be an expert, or almost expert, in using that propane grill. He says, I am a pro, son. I'm a pro. Then yes, the answer is yes. In fact, you can probably heat treat all the stone for your buddies too. You know, let's go over WS's house and get our stone heat treated. He's a pro with that. He uses a grill. Yeah. Really? Yeah, he uses the grill. It's amazing. So there you go. You can get high temperatures with a grill. Oh yes. You can get up to 600 degrees if you're good. Or more. You know, you gotta get some spare propane tanks, but you know, it's possible. How do I know? I've seen it done. I haven't done it myself. There used to be some guys on YouTube. I forgot where that video was. There was some guys on YouTube. They had so much finesse that they would turn the stones with tongs. They say, yeah, we got it up to something degrees. We let it cool down, but not all the way. You know, still a little bit warm. And we opened it up and we turn them with tongs, and then we blast the heat back up real steady. I said, dang, these guys, I need to save this video. I saw it like maybe 10 years ago, but I forgot to save the video. They actually turned the stones inside and make sure the heat treating was even Steven, all the way around. Yeah. And I don't know if it was a joke, but it didn't not look like a joke to me. It looked like they were some serious guys. Yeah. Thanks, Patrick. Oh, you're welcome. Yep, well, you're welcome. All right, let's see. Have you ever used Gore-Tex carving gloves? No, but I think somebody sent me that one time, and I don't know what I did with them. Somebody sent me some gloves that had that Kevlar something or other for carving. And these gloves, I don't know what it's called. It looked like Kevlar to me, or something like that. But you said Gore-Tex carving gloves. I think I had some Kevlar, but I forgot what I did with them. Ross Wellman says, I got a piece of obsidian buried in my hand today. Alan sends, what does it say? Alan sends Band-Aids with his box. Oh, yes. I've gotten Band-Aids from Alan before, too. What about the sand method? Apparently stops temperature swings. Yeah, sand method can help you with the temperature swings. Yes. But it's not guaranteed. Sand cools down pretty fast too. It prevents the air from hitting your stones. So it's not mainly for retaining heat, it's to prevent airflow. Because, if airflow changes the temperatures really fast, if there's airflow. So the sand is there to prevent airflow. Okay, so it might be important for you. Yes. But yeah, you can use sand. I mean, I've seen guys use cat litter. I guess their sand was expensive. I don't know. Or maybe they had just bunches of cats. You can use clay cat litter. Yeah. I used dirt a couple times. The dirt where I used to live was full of sand anyway, but very fine sand. So I used dirt a couple times in a heat treat in the turkey roaster, and it worked, right? But it's just too much of a hassle for no reason. The guys that use the pottery kilns, they don't put sand in there with their stuff. So I said, man, what am I doing? Use pottery, guys. You guys are on the ball. You make potteries. Yeah. That's not easy stuff to make. That's harder than heat treat to make. So I said, man, if the pottery guys who are on the ball don't use sand, what am I doing? I'm going to be like the pottery guys. Yeah. So that's what I did. I stopped using sand. And I became very happy because it was one variable that I could eliminate. Don't have to deal with it. Oh, that was good. Yeah. This is like peanut butter, right? Does it nap like peanut butter? I wish. I wish it napped like creamy peanut butter. Yeah. No, it doesn't even nap like crunchy peanut butter. It naps like frozen peanut butter, I guess. But it's not bad. I'm making it sound bad. But this is like peanut butter Jasper, right? That's what it's called. Peanut butter Jasper. Yeah. It's even got almonds in it. Yeah. Peanut butter Jasper with almonds. I've been trying to stay away from candy, but I can't help myself. I've been eating, well, I bought roasted peanuts by themselves instead of buying Reese's Pieces. I got to kick the candy habit. I got into eating way too much candy this past, these trips that I go on. Yeah. My daughter says, hey, Dad, you even tried this? My friend works at a coffee shop, but there's truffles and there's blah, 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 and there's blah, blah, blah. They're made of chocolate. You like chocolate, right, Dad? I said, no, I don't like chocolate. I freaking love chocolate. Well, there you go. Here, try this and try that. So I've been bad. I'm back on the wagon or whatever they call it. Yeah, I got to quit that. So I bought some peanuts instead of buying the Reese's Pieces. but they're gone. Yeah, I bought a jar of dry roasted peanuts, salted. I polished that thing off in a day and a half. I said, man, I can't be doing this. What can I do? Get me off of that excess carb stuff. Because normally I just eat meat, eggs, and I've been trying a little bit of sourdough bread. And that's it. Yeah, no cheese. I get a kind of weird reactions when I eat cheese. I think it messes with my immune system or something. I'm not lactose intolerant, I don't think. It just messes with my immune system. In some way, I don't know what it does. It just, I don't know. Eggs kind of make me do that. Feel like what kind of blah too. But it depends on the eggs. The cheap Walmart eggs, they make me feel bad. But the expensive eggs at my local place here, they don't make me feel sick. It could be because the eggs at Walmart are up on the shelf too long. Or they take too long in shipment. They're not fresh. Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I changed my diet to eliminate carbs, and it changes everything. Yep. All right, so the next step is the hardest. Getting rid of anything that's lumpy. What about the same method? Okay. Don't gotten what the barrack tents are made of. What are you talking about? The barracks tents are not made of Kevlar. They're canvas. Right? Let's see. Yeah. You're not sure if it's safe to run a propane grill for 24 hours? Yeah, it might not be. Technically, you don't have to run it that long. You can put your stones in a kitchen oven to dry them out, 200 degrees for 24 hours. And then you just heat them for 6 hours after that. You want to sit outside for 6 hours? You can heat them for as little as 2 to 4 hours. And you can be cooking outside doing something else. If you got 2 grills, you can have one with stones and one with meat. Let's see here. Let's see. Weak edges create step fractures. Oh yes. There's lots of stuff that creates step fractures. Step fractures are one of the things that has a lot of causes. So it's difficult to narrow down what's causing it. When someone asks me what's causing this, like at a Knapping, they'll come up to me and says, "You know what causes that?" And it's a big old stack. I mean, dang. You guys can run buffalo off of that cliff. And they go, hee. Now, what happened? Well, and I ask them, can I try taking a flake off of that? Sure. So I go like this. I go, and nothing happens, right? Just like that. And I hit harder. Still nothing happens. I said, you know what? This stone is super tough, dude. No one can knap this. That's why you're having trouble with it. That's the main reason for step fractures. The stuff is junk. And I don't know how many times new guys have shown me stuff that they can't knap. And it's no wonder. The stuff is just horrid. It looks good. It might have some creamy peanut butter looking stuff with almonds. And I'm sitting there trying to knap it. And it's like, holy moly. You must have found the only peanut butter colored rhyolite this side of the Mississippi. What are you doing? Why? I don't know. I'm new. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I'm not I'm not criticizing you. Yep. That's the reason. That's the reason for a lot of these guys not being able to nap it. Okay. What else we got? Pecans are very low in carbs, 1 gram per. Yeah, I know, but I'll eat a ton of pecans because I can't help myself. Yeah. My brain says the pecans are there, so it develops this appetite. It says it's there, might as well eat it. No, I don't have to. Well, yes, you do, because I'll create the appetite. You don't know. And I say, yes, I do know. I've had to deal with it all my life. Yeah. I get in the habit of eating them almonds or or pecans. No, I got to stay away from all that stuff. I mean, I got to go cold turkey. The only way that I can successfully not eat any of that stuff is just go completely cold turkey. Yeah. I can't do a little bit. No. Completely cold turkey. That's it. Okay, so like I said, this is the hardest part because I got to figure out if I want to get this thinner, I got to make sure that all the edges are just right. Not too much ground down, not too little. Make sure they're close to the obstacles. If there's any obstacles, how do I make sure? Well, sometimes I got to narrow it down, that sort of thing, and then take the obstacle out. I don't have obstacles today, right now. Except for it's still kind of thick. That's the only obstacle. I don't see any islands, no major step fracturing. It's just still kind of thick. What time is it? I've been online for 47 minutes. I got to hurry up. I want to do more than one. Okay. Ed Gould says I got to run. Okay. See you next time. See you tomorrow night. Let's see. Ross Wellman says I got a load of what? A loaded chert and a roaster now, 200 for 24 hours, going for $650 for 4 hours by tomorrow afternoon. Alrighty. You're lucky to get $650 with your roaster. That's a mighty fine roaster you got there. Hey, Ken Winton is here. Now, if you're using excellent stone and you're getting messes and step fractures, yeah, it's you. Yeah, Ken, that is you. Depending on what kind of stone you're using. Let's see. Yeah, Mike Mason says, at least I sent glass. I know where I am on the rock map. Yeah, don't eat the stones and nap the meat. Yeah. Eric, just don't eat the stones and nap the meat. Yeah, we have this saying around here about face napping. We used to say it a lot, but we don't say no face snapping jokes anymore. Let's see. Tommy Taylor. What else we got? I don't see any more questions. I'm reading the chat from the phone that I'm filming with, which is hard for me to do. Oh yeah, use the finger pointer to show me where it's thick. I need to soak it in. You don't see where it's thick? Maybe because of the focus. The whole thing is too thick. It's if you look at the thing, it's all too thick. Okay, soak it in. I don't need the pointer. It's just all too thick. Yeah. It's got good convexity, which is the good part. The hard part is taking the chances and thinning it down and messing up the contour. So I'm looking very carefully at which side would be better to attack it from. Or do I just attack it from anywhere? Sometimes it's good to strategize, like take most of the flakes off of this one side if the edge is more conducive than the other side. I think this edge is more conducive to the flaking than this side. This side's like exact center line, but this side looks like it's a little bit further that way, so I can more easily dry flakes because it's lower. All right? All right. So let's try that. Yeah, take the glove off too, because this is a small point. Yeah. Smaller points, I don't need the glove. It starts to get in the way. Okay? Okay. This is relatively small. See, I'm going to take off these little bitty flakes. Like that. See that? Just like that. Let's see. Like that. Haha. Just like that. You want to see the pointer? Let me see. What did I do with the pointer? Okay, pointy. So I'm going to be flaking off of this side toward this direction. Yep. All the flakes. I did one there. I did one there. I'm going to do a lot of more. A lot of more. Yeah. Got it? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? I'm going to start modifying these. I'm going to get a bunch of these and modify them with different fingers. Yes, sir. Wait a second. Different fingers? You know what I mean. They're going to be different poses with different fingers up in the air, if you know what I mean. And you do know what I mean. Yeah. Oh, yes. So, am I doing sequential flaking? If that's what floats your boat, then you can believe it if you want to. I don't pay attention to that stuff. If I get sequential flaking, it's incidental, not intentional. Okay? All I'm trying to do is thin down the lumpy spots. Or to make it thinner in general. Right now, I'm trying to make it thinner in general. And if I get a sequential flake pattern, it's incidental, not intentional. Okay? Yeah, like that. I work from the tip down because of one important reason. I start with less force, and then I build up. Yeah. If I start with more force to begin with, it's hard to tone it down. For some reason, I find it easier to build up than it is to tone down. So, but it's the opposite with pressure flaking, because I get tired. I do the hardest pressure flakes first, and then end up near the tip, which are the easiest. But it's the opposite with indirect percussion. I start with the easy stuff first, and then do the hard stuff. I don't know why. There's got to be some reason in there somewhere. Yep. I'm not going to be able to drive big old long flakes. Not without risking too much. Yes. I don't know. There we go. I don't like this focus thing. It's driving me nuts. The lack of focus. I got a fancy camera. I got a DSLR camera, but I got to put the camera in front of my face. It's too bulky. Yeah. Turns out I bought it used, but I bought a nice DSLR camera. I can manually focus that thing from here to Kingdom Come. I don't have to worry about no blurries, but it's huge compared to this phone, or compared to the phone. Yeah. I film with the phone in front of my face, but it's small enough that I can deal with it. It is dealable. I can live with it. But something bigger, nope. Did I waste my money on the DSLR? I hope not. I should be able to use it for my outdoor adventures. Yeah. I got outdoor adventures coming up. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That one was risky, but yeah, it worked out. I'm in the process of doing the hardest thing in all of Flintknapping. And I don't know. Sometimes people tune into this and they watch it, but then sometimes I see a bunch of people leave. Yeah. When they start going slow and deliberate, most of the time they start heading toward the refrigerator to make sandwiches. They don't pay attention to the most important part of Flintknapping. Yeah. That's how I can tell it's just mainly spectators and not nappers. They don't know what the most important part of Flintknapping is, or they're bored by it because they don't nap. How do you not get step fractures? Just don't ask the flake to do too much. You have to know the limits. The only way you know the limits is when you exceed the limits. If you exceed the limits, don't do it with that much force or with that much expectation next time. Okay? 99% of step fractures are caused by people wanting to do too much. Asking the flake to do too much. Yeah. What's the other percent? What's that 1%? You're not doing it right. Yeah. I make fun of people who say I don't do things right. But there are, to be fair, there are times when you're just not doing it right. Yeah. Wait a second. I thought that asking the flake to do too much is not doing it right. No, you can ask the flake to do a lot. And sometimes even too much. But you got to be willing to live with the bad luck that sometimes accompanies that. Okay? If you can live with the step fracturing and the mistakes and the overshots and all the other stuff, yeah, you can ask the flake to do too much. It's still doing it right. It's just that, you can misjudge. And I can't fault anyone for misjudging because this is all risk management anyway. You don't know for sure about what the flake's going to do because it's going to do whatever it wants after you generate that force. It's just going to do whatever it wants. You can predict what it's going to do after many, many strikes. You can kind of predict. But there's always something that you don't foresee. Yeah, what about the flake over grind guys? They don't have those troubles. There's nothing they don't foresee. Yeah, well, they take care of a lot of the initial conditions. They make sure they use heat treats or obsidians. Okay, they use consistent surfaces. They grind them all down. They use consistent tools, consistent pressures, consistent attitudes. The attitude is focus, no distraction, same old, meditate, that kind of thing. You start eliminating the problems with the initial conditions. Like, see, I still got a wonky edge. There's problems. There's problems with this. To generate flakes across a random surface, it's risky. And I don't always get a good flake. But if you do flake over grind, they grind down the bad spots. If you make a mistake and get a step fracture, it's back over to the grinder. Bzzz, you just grind that step fracture right off of there and start over. Okay? That's what you do. You make a mistake on your pass. It looks all cruddy and kind of crunchy. Go over to the grinder. Bzzz, grind it all off and try it again. That's how you do it. So there's no excuse. If I see fussings, you need to go over there real quick and stay there. Don't come over here and fuss. You know better now. Ed says, see you later. Okay, we'll see you next time. Right? Or did I miss? Oh, that was a while ago. Hey, Aaron, $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Party on. Let's see. Martin Hill says hi. Let's see. There's no bad luck. It's just terrible volunteer flakes. What does that mean? Chef Cowie says, just jingle some keys in front of the camera every few minutes. That keeps the looky-loos around for a bit longer. What is a looky-loo? Let me see. Let's see, fish boobers. Hey, let's see. What did he say about? I don't wear gloves at all. They get in my way so bad. It's just annoying. Yeah, but sometimes you gotta wear them because, you know, or you lose a finger or two. That Comanche shirt was unknowable. Don't buy it. Oh, dang it. All right. Yeah, I didn't know there was such thing as Comanche shirt. Let's see. I'm reading the chat. Okay, so hold on. Okay, I already read that stuff. You guys, no questions, right? No. Okay. I don't see any questions, so let me get back. Looky Lou, someone who only watches while things are crazy for a few minutes at a time, then drops off. There's a word for that? Everybody's a looky Lou. Or looky Lou. Everybody just watches a few things that are crazy for a few minutes and then moves on to the next one. Everybody does that. What's his no gloves wearing name? Woodpecker Lips? Yeah, maybe. Mr. Jim says, I'm here, not running off to fog just yet. Okay. It's sold as premium Comanche shirt from Texas. All right, I'll remember not to get that stuff. I won't recommend it either. Spectator Sport, yeah. How big of pieces can you heat treat? I recommend no thicker than 1 inch, but it can be any size otherwise. As long as it fits in your kiln or roaster. But no thicker than 1 inch. Okay? That's what I recommend. Eric Garrett says, so Patrick, did you make all those points for the government at the Knapping? Yes, I did. For the governor. Yeah, I made all those points for the governor at the Knapping. Governor of the tribe. Yep. I was busy. We call people who look and don't buy items looky-loos too. Ah, I see. I see. The looky-loos, yeah. There's a bunch of lurker-loos in the audience that we got. Yeah. Lurker-loos are the people who are watching but don't comment. Man, this is not pressure flaking easy at all. You know that? That's unusual. It's unusual to find something that, I mean, I'm serious, to find something that is this hard to pressure flake. When it, you know, otherwise it's good. Either that or I need to sharpen the pressure flaker or something. Concentrate the force more. It's, now that I'm knapping it with a pressure flaker, it feels raw. Yeah. Okay. I'll see how it's going to go. I'm going to have to zone out. This is about my time to zone out anyway, because it starts getting really difficult not to break it. Because I'm trying to make something cool. All right. Maybe I shouldn't mess with the edges yet. I'll just put the notches in. I should just put the notches in. Isn't it cheating to use modern tools? Yes, it is. So what? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that works a little bit better. But still, I'm starting to get the feeling that this is going to get too flakery. I'm losing it. I'm losing the nice bold flaked stuff. What am I doing now? I gotta make it I got to make the edge straighter so I can see what I'm doing better. Yeah. And to get more used to the way this flakes with a pressure flaker. This is tough, which means that it's gonna be nice and sharp when I finish. Tough stone to pressure flake usually has a good edge on it once you get it sharpened. Once you get used to it and sharpen it, that edge is nice and sharp on something like this. That's kind of difficult to pressure flake. If it's difficult to pressure flake, that means the edge is durable. Yeah, got it tough. It's got properties. Yeah. Really? It's got some properties? Yeah, that's what we call it in Flintknapping. If it's going to be sharp, it's got some properties. Stupid. Yeah, I'm not using pointer much today. I don't want to wear out that tool. The pointer is a tool. Yeah. If I use it too much, I'll wear it out. Like I said, I'm gonna get some more, do some surgery on them fingers. They sell them in packs of 3 and 4 and 5. I can get different colors too, but no. Yeah, I'm gonna make some more props. Now, how many props? It depends on how much time I got. Oh yes. If I don't have much time, there won't be much props. I gotta start painting my house too. That's gonna eat up a bunch of time. I gotta paint my house before the weather turns bad. I still got a few months before that happens, but I gotta go on my trip too. Usually preparing for my trip takes me a while, because I don't want to end up forgetting stuff. Because then I gotta spend more money to buy some stuff that I forgot. Yeah. One time I forgot to bring the extra lights. So I have to go out and buy another tripod, some lights, that kind of thing. I need extra lights when I nap. Yeah. When I first started going to nap-ins, nobody brought their extra lights to shine on their work. They just suffered in the dimness. Suffered in the dimness. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. What can I write on here? We don't do overshot tech. No. What else do we do? Fast causes fudging. What else should I put on there? Sweat stage? What's the sweat stage? Yeah, I haven't used that term in a while. This is a sweat stage, but the weather's been good, so it's not that sweaty. It's just that it's starting to get too flakery, and I'm afraid to try to make it look more cool. I always end up only making 1 point. How can I speed things up without messing things up? Because fast causes fudging. If I start to speed this up, the only way to speed it up without fudging is to increase my skill level. Yeah, and then I gotta suffer to do that. Yeah, I posted something about suffering, learning through suffering. Apparently, in order for me to learn in Flintknapping, I gotta suffer. Yeah. If I do the easy stuff, I don't learn nothing. If I take the easy approach, yeah, like that, I gotta risk a lot. I gotta live with what I get. Why am I still thinning? Because I think I can get it thinner. Yeah. As long as it goes a little bit past halfway, I'm happy. It is getting thinner. But, you know, I already got a step fracture right there, so I don't know what. I think that was a pressure step. Doesn't count. What was that? That was okay. That was all right. No, that didn't do nothing. This is a tough stone. Dang. There it goes. I just had to hit it from another angle. Man. See up here. Might have trouble with the pressure flaker, so I'm trying with the indirect percussion, but it doesn't want to do it. And I don't want to make this more pointy. I can make it more pointy and get in there with the percussion, but no, I really don't feel like messing with the tool tips. There is a slight learning curve when you mess with the tool tips. I like to keep the tool tips pretty standard, so I don't have to worry about variability, obviously. So what I'm trying to do is just getting it thinner. Okay, so just got to bear with me to see if I can get this any thinner. If I can't, then I'll just move on to notching. Yeah. But I'm going to try to get it thinner. I feel like I'm wasting my time on my videos if I don't try to get it as thin as I can. Okay. Yeah. If I just focus on making the point without worrying too much about thinness. I've made videos like that before, and they don't generate much interest, and for good reason. Yeah, everyone wants to know how to do it. Has it been out of focus the whole time? I'm looking here. Yeah, probably so. I can't do nothing about the lack of focus. Believe me, I tried different things. These cameras are not made for Flintknapping. Dang. Let's see. It wants me to hit really, really hard. Come on, sticky flakes. I think that's as far as I want to go with the thinning. Yeah, if I push it too much, it's not going to like me. It already doesn't like me. Yeah. It's just this side, though. This side is bugging me. If I can... I don't know. I'm afraid to keep napping through there because it looks like there's a hard spot surrounding that inclusion. Or something. It might just be a coincidence. But the flakes are stopping. See, they didn't stop on this side, but they are stopping on this side. So it could be coincidence, or it could be a hard spot or some weirdness. Yeah, so we'll just notch it. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Oh, let's see here. I thought I made heat smoke, but I'm sure it was malaria. What? Oh, Mr. Jim says we hit 100 degrees. I see. Barnett, if you can get a hold of bronze, it's great for knapping, but just a bit harder than copper, but not as rough on the stone as steel. Still gives. Yep. Jim Cooper, it's a conspiracy. The aliens don't want Patrick to share the series secrets of overshot technology and bending flakes with magic. Yeah. They don't want me to share nothing. Hypothetically speaking, does the feather fletching dictate the bevel? No. It has nothing to do. Well, you can do it. You can make it dictate it, but it doesn't really matter. It can be all chaotic, especially at short range shooting. Okay? Anything that's persnickety pertains to long range shooting, and we're not doing long range shooting with primitive equipment, so to speak. Let's see. Barnett says, there is a certain irony to the fact that the best tools for flint knapping are copper, considering the Bronze Age is what displaced the Stone Age. Yeah, well, they used copper during the Stone Age too. Even though it's not called the Copper Age. They still used copper during the Stone Age. I just forget what makes the transition. I think the metallurgy, the emergence of metallurgy is what distinguishes the Stone Age from the Copper Age, right? You can find what they call float copper, naturally occurring, almost pure copper. And they use that during the Stone Age for various things. Let's see. Bronze works good, yes. All right, let me see what else is in the chat before I do the notching. The notching is a different mindset. There's another flint napper. Gulf Coast Knapping is live too. Hey, let's watch Jake. Yeah, look, he's got a huge blade. Except there's a delay on his. Right? Oh, I didn't double tap. Yay, I double tapped. All right, so they use stone through a fair chunk of the Bronze Age too. Yes, that is true. Mike Mason, aluminum is a common surface metal. Fine, copper plus aluminum is what? I don't know. I don't think copper and aluminum alloys are very good for anything. I could be wrong. Let me see. As far as knapping goes. Let me see. Yeah, I've tried different copper alloys and different aluminum alloys. Not very many. Now, I don't know what copper and aluminum mixed together is. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Tin and copper make bronze. Hey, Jesse gave me $5 super chat. Smack talk napping. He gave me $5 for talking smack. WS, why does Hunt Primitive charge $200 for the Nap Easy stuff? Well, because it costs money to make it, for one. And number two, maybe people will buy it still at that price. Eric Garrett asks me, so Patrick, did you make all those points for the... Yeah, okay, I answered that one. The answer is yes. All right, so no other questions? No other questions. Everyone's going over to Gulf Coast Knappings anyway. Right? Is he still there? Yep, he's still there. There's 374 people watching him. He's doing excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So, we are going to notch. Notch. Yes, we are. Yeah. Looking at it again, yeah, I don't want to risk. Oh, I do want to risk it, actually. I'm just looking to see if it'll mess up the symmetry if I try. That's okay, we don't need no stinking symmetry. Yeah, I think I can do it. All right. Uh-oh, I gotta put someone in timeout. I'm gonna put that Fruit Loop in timeout. Yes, yes. Hold on. Come on. Why is it not working? Yeah, we don't need no Fruit Loops in the comment section. All right, here we go. Let's see if it did it. Yes. Yeah. Yep, it did it. That's as far as I'm going to go. Yeah. Don't push. I'm not going to push my luck. Cool. There's still some sticky flakes up in here, but that's okay. Yeah, that's all right. So that's as thin as I can get it without risking it. Yep. Okay. And I made a new notcher today too, so I'm happy about that. I made a longer notcher, but I'm going to use the original one first. I'm going to try this because this is a little bit thinner. All right, let's see what we got. No, you're not the Fruit Loop. There was somebody that used the word penis in the comment section. I always call them the Fruit Loops. Sharp, durable, pointed. Yeah, you can tell it's a durable stone by how hard you have to hit it. Yeah, I have to hit this very, very hard. And the pressure flaking, I've got to exert a little bit more effort. And these flakes are sticky, which is another indicator of tough material. Yeah. All right. So, what should I do? We're going to do some just regular side notches, expanding, and I'm going to probably do a nice deep concavity. So we got nice big long barbs. How's that? Yeah. Okay. We'll try to do as narrow an entry as possible. And with me, that means it's not going to be extremely narrow. No. I've been experimenting with narrow notch stuff in the past, and it just ends up being kind of disastrous. So I'll do kind of narrow entry, but I play it safe. Yeah. It's funny how just a slight change in the narrow notching can make it so much more difficult. And if you just don't make it as narrow, it makes it so much easier. Yeah, so I don't know why they did it back in the day. You know, Ishii did a lot of narrow entry notching. I just don't understand why it was done. You know, I've said different reasons, like maybe it was just to keep the edge quality good. So, because notches will interfere with the penetration. They do interfere with penetration if they're really large, if they're side notches. So maybe that was it. Maybe that's it. But I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work for nothing, when all you need is just regular notches. Maybe the arrowhead deities, they don't like it if you just do regular stuff. Take the easy way out. Gotta suffer more. I don't know. You gotta satisfy the stone gods. That sort of thing. So that's not really narrow entry, but I did expand the notches slightly. Or expand that notch slightly. Yeah. So I'm just going to try to match it on this side, and if it goes well, I'll deepen the notches. Yeah. But I got to make sure that I can get at least that deep on the other side. Uh-oh. Expanding the notching helps to deepen the notch. Yeah, it gives you more room at the bottom of the notch for deeper notching. You can keep going. It allows you to keep going when you expand it as you go. Because the rule is you don't want a notch more narrow than the thickness of your workpiece at that point, at that place. So wherever you are, the notch should be wider than the thickness that you're notching into. So that's why they expand. I just don't understand the narrow entry. I understand the expanding, because it's just physics. It works better. But the narrow entry is just torture. So what happened there? I think sometimes I'll overshoot as I'm notching, but it didn't overshoot, so it just looks a little bit off. For some reason. I lost the symmetry, or I wasn't paying attention. So I'm just going to see how it looks after I make the edge a little bit better. See if I can deepen those notches or not. I think I can go a little bit deeper with the notches, yeah. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's try the new notcher. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's okay. No. I'm afraid of hitting the sides with that new notcher because it's a little bit wider than this one. I mean, it's a little bit thicker. This is thin. I feel better with the thinner one. I gotta fix the other one. But I don't want to spend the time trying to fix it right now. I thought I had it thin enough. Okay. Maybe I won't be able to go deeper with these. No, it's not doing it. Even with a sharp edge, it's still not doing it. Even with the expanding notch, it's stalling on me. Yeah, it's starting to stall. I'm still making progress, but I'm having to use a lot of force, which also causes me to hit the side sometimes. It's more difficult to control the flaker when I use more force. Okay. So this is a challenge rock, and it has been challenging. At least with the pressure flaking, the percussion wasn't too bad. A little bit off. That's okay. Come on. I hit the side. That's enough. When I start hitting the sides of the notch, it's enough. Yeah, okay. So let's go back to the regular pressure flaker. Yeah, it's a tough one. So hold on while I focus on this. Yeah, so I can thin now as I go down. Okay, so that's what I was doing, just fixing the edge so that now I can start pushing off some thinning flakes to thin down the stem. I'm going to keep going until it feels unsafe to continue. Okay, on this side I can use some percussion because it's more bulky on this side. This side's kind of flat. So I got convexity here. I can generate probably a long flake. Let's see. Hey, Lance McElwain's here. Did you make a video on the new notcher? Nope, I did not make a video on the new notcher. I'm behind on the chat, yeah. So I'm reading some old comments, I think. No? Hey, Poked. Poked says, hey, Patrick, long time no see. Yeah, long time. Soft hands, brother. Who's got soft hands? Let's see. Okay. All right, let's see if I can generate a long flake in here somewhere. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, that's better. That runs right up into that defect. Yes? Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Cool. All right. We shall continue. Now this is not the size of an arrow point, but it looks like an arrow point. I mean, it's not the size of an arrow point in the archaeological record, right? I mean, maybe some of them were this size, but most of the time arrow points were smaller than this in the archaeological record. I could show you in the book, but I think everybody knows. Everybody that's watching anyway. I'm kind of zoning out because I got to be careful not to break off these barbs. Or these ears. These are ears and this is the barb here. The barb is above the notch. If there's no notches, then yeah, these ears are actually barbs, right? Depends on if it has notching or not. Except on paleos, and they call them oracles, when they got these little protrusions that look like ears, they call them oracles. Paleo is funny. It affects everybody in funny ways. They even make up special words for the paleo stuff. That's what I wanted. Nice pop out there. And something similar on the other side too. Why did they put such a big notch? I don't know. It has something to do with the hafting, obviously. So, but I don't know. It could have been just a belief that it hafts better this way, or maybe it was just artistic license. People sometimes say that there was, the reason why they did that is because there was a little bit of a protrusion at the bottom of the notch when they hafted it. But a little protrusion down in the bottom it'll cause it to break. So you don't want little protrusions in there. At least I would not, because it increases the chances of breakage. If you have a little protrusion at the bottom of this wooden notch. How do I know? I don't know. Especially if it's not quite centered right and you try to adjust it to the center, you can break the little delicate edges down in here, because these are not ground down. In the archaeological record, they're very sharp actually. So I can haft it to something like that. What else? What else do I have? We got this one. Is this too wide? No, it's perfect as far as the width goes. Yeah, I could haft it to something like that. See, this one's got a narrow taper tip, and this one's got an expanding tip on the foreshaft. Hippie Mike is in the chat. Let me see. Great Fishing says, nice flute. Oh, Poked says it's Hippie Mike. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, it's been a long time, Hippie Mike. I got sick and spent a few months in the hospital. Oh, dang. Too big for an arrow? Yeah, these points are too big for an arrow. See, I've got some arrow foreshafts. Let's see. These are arrow foreshafts, right? You can see that it doesn't even qualify. There's no way. I mean, you could do it, I suppose, but it's just, it looks kind of odd being so big. It's more of an little dart size. Little dart point size. I mean, you could probably do it, but, you know, it's just, I don't like seeing a huge piece of stone at the top of an arrow. That's why they have foreshafts. The foreshafts increase the weight. You don't need a bunch of weight in the arrowhead. Here's another one. It might fit this one better. See, I have these are arrow foreshafts, and this is an arrow foreshaft. Might fit this one better. No, still looks odd. It just looks too big. Oh, some people don't mind it, I suppose. It looks too big for an arrow, in my opinion. It can be used. I mean, people use them all the time in modern hunting. But they also don't use foreshafts, so they think all the weight should be in the arrowhead itself. So they have these big old arrowheads on these arrows that they're making. I think it looks odd. You know, I'm a believer that the foreshaft is what adds weight to the top of the arrow or the front of the arrow. Yeah, it'll fit. Yeah, it just looks too bulky, in my opinion. It looks much more proportional if I put it in something like this. Because the neck, it matches the width of the wood. Don't do that. You know what I mean? I like it when the neck matches the width of the wood. That to me looks more proportional. Yeah. That looks reasonable. So what is the size? That's a good question. The point is actually 2 1/4. Yeah, 2 1/4. by 1 inch. So you can use it for hunting on an arrow, yes, but I'd rather attach it to an metal dart for shaft. Okay, but that's just me. Alrighty, so let's see, 1 hour 45 minutes. What do I do with the last 15 minutes? Do I do Q&A? I could do Q&A, I suppose. I could do anything I want. Yeah. Let's do some hafting then. I got water already. I had that water sitting there because I was grinding down the notcher earlier, the new notcher I made. All I did was I put the nail on the end of this commercially available tool. I just stuck a nail, I think it's a 20-penny nail, in there and just ground it down. But this is for larger points. I've got to make another one like this as a backup for my little bird points. Since tomorrow's going to be Friday, I need to make another one of these for my super duper califragilistic notching tomorrow night. Yeah. So it's a fox ear. Yeah. This is what they call a fox ear point. You guys, one of you guys, Jesse, I don't know. So one of you guys got it before I even mentioned it. It's a fox ear. Yeah. It just needs to be sharpened and the point made more pointy. Yeah. I'll do that off camera. Because people's eyes will glaze over if I do these persnickety flint-knappings. Alright, so let's haft. Let's haft this. While I look at the chat too. Does sinew have bacteria? I was afraid to chew it. I had a slight smell. Yeah. Just assume that the sinew has bacteria. That's the best policy. Just assume that it does. And if it smells, then it definitely does. If it smells funky, it has bacteria. You got to make sure you're very careful about drying that stuff out. Yeah. Because it'll give you a bad stomach ache. How do I know? I don't know. That's why I never chew it anymore. Yep. That's why I don't chew on sinew. No way. Unless I prepare it myself. You know, I butcher the deer and I know where it came from. I know how I've stored it. I know everything about it. And you got to wash it too. You wash it with dishwashing liquid. Get that fat off of there. And any bacteria that's lingering. You wash the sinew, yes. You wash the backstrap sinew in dishwashing liquid, warm water. And then you dry it. And back in the day, I guess they would rinse it in the river or somewhere before they dried it out. It dries out without smelling if you wash it before you dry it. Imagine that. Yeah. Some people forget to wash it and they're using that butcher knife on everything. You know, that butcher knife is not clean. As it could be. I mean, it probably is, but you know, it could be cleaner. Just wash the sinew before you put it in your mouth or before you dry it. And make sure when you dry it, you're not touching it with nasty fingers before you start drying it. Make sure you wash your hands. Everything has to be clean. That's why I don't recommend putting it in your mouth unless you control the whole process. Okay, so you don't want salmonella either. I don't know how common it is to get salmonella from deer, but I don't want to find out. I could ask Grok. How common is it to get salmonella or other bacteria from deer? Probably not very common. Okay. Would hamstring tendon work as good as backstrap? Yes. I mean, it works. It's tough. It's just not as easy to process. This is easy to process because it just comes apart easily from from the big old backstrap piece, you just tear it apart. You don't have to pound it and then separate it. That's why backstrap is used a lot, because it's so easy to, separate into strips. But any kind of sinew will work. Yeah. It's just not going to be as long usually, or as easy to process. That's the only reason to use backstrap. And I got spoiled. I got a lot of backstrap as a gift from a couple of friends, not just one, but a couple of friends gave me some backstrap. So now I'm set for a while. I've got leg sinew also. This is not going to be good like this. I gotta cut it. Come on. No. The thing about the sharpest edges in the world, they get dull almost immediately. Where's my glue? Right? It's not. I need it to be more sticky. Yeah, I bought some Elmer's. I had some other glue, right? But I think it was PVA glue. I'd rather get this school glue. It's all natural. It's a starch type of glue. And it can be reconstituted easily by soaking in water. It gets reconstituted easily. And it doesn't hold all that strongly, so I can disassemble this pretty easily. Yeah. It's not like if I were using, wood glue or something. And I can also rub the glue on my pants and not worry about it. Yep. It's easy peasy. All right, so let's see here. Pull it tight. Go at least once around before I go back up. Come down. Pull it tight. And we're going to wrap it some more. On the little dart points, there's a lot of wraps. Yeah. If you look in the archaeological record, they put a lot of sinew on these at little dart points. If you look at the arrow points, there's not much sinew at all as far as the thickness of the sinew. On the little dart points, they have a lot of thick sinews that they used to use. I need some more. Where's the rest of it? Yes, no, this is thin stuff. Yeah, sticker. Okay. So yeah, I did the crisscrossing first because it looks like it wasn't going to be holding very firmly if I started up here first. I was wrapping up here first, but then the arrowhead was starting to come out. So crisscrossing at first held it in, it's holding it in place better. But you need some wraps horizontally across the notches on these bigger points. On the arrow points, they just did the crisscross. They didn't do this horizontal. I don't know why. In most cases, with the arrow points, they just did the V or the crisscross like that. They didn't put much on across there. And then this goes down on the shaft. Yeah. To help prevent splitting. Of course, it doesn't really matter on this particular point because it's so delicate. But yeah, a bigger, fatter arrowhead or a little dart point, you need to reinforce it. Depends on, I guess, what you're hunting, right? Yeah. Let's see, Jesse. Okay, what are you guys talking about in the chat? Let me see. Somebody talking about arrows? I want to see. If you're talking about arrows, I want to see. Clinton is here. He says, I found an arrowhead that has never been known. It's different. I sent it to 2 archaeological people, and they both said they have never seen one like it in their 60 plus years of the career. You found a variant? Man. Event Horizon probably did only crisscross because around it would have been leverage point for snapping it when used. I don't know. Maybe. Because around it would have been a leverage point for snapping. Well, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I want it to snap. I think they crisscrossed it only and didn't wrap it up here because I guess the wrapping up there doesn't really hold it very much on a smaller foreshaft. So there's not much surface to glue on the arrow shafts, but there's a lot of surface of wood here. There's not much surface on this, so it doesn't do much good to put this horizontal if there's not much surface to adhere to. But the crisscross does make a difference in holding power. Okay, what are you talking about working something out? Let's see. Somebody selling some rocks? Okay, Ross Wellman says he has a bunch of sinew. All you need, my friend. There you go, Ross. Ross is the man with the sinew. TJ says Australian Aboriginals use tendons from a kangaroo tail. They would pull it out with their teeth and chew it to make it softer, then wrap it straight onto a spearhead. Awesome, yeah. Saliva actually starts to digest the sinew and make it more sticky. They didn't really chew it, they just kind of rolled it around in their mouth. If you chew on the sinew, I mean literally chew on it, you're going to weaken it. You're going to break up the fibers if you actually chew it. But if you look at all the literature, they always say chew, but they mean rolling it around. So so the saliva starts to digest it somewhat. Okay. Seriously, if you start chewing on it, you're going to weaken the sinew. Let's see. Let's see. I let some stay in the plastic water bottle overnight in the water, and there was a layer on top of the water. I wasn't sure if bacteria. Yeah. Yep. Ross Wellman says salt it and freeze it. Yeah, freezing it is a good policy, but I tend to like to dry all my stuff. That way it's lightweight for transport. Yeah. Even though I'm not out in the wilderness. I like to try to do stuff as if I'm out in the wilderness. And the best way to handle it when you're traveling is to dry it out. It's very lightweight. So that's what I tend to do. Jesse Garcia says, Patrick, send me Ross Wellman's info. Okay, let's see. Okay, who else? Send Jesse Garcia. No, let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'll send you his info. Anybody else? Let's see. That's it? Okay. Anybody else wants Ross Wellman's info, let me know, because so I can write it down. If I don't write it down, it may get lost I mean, I might lose my memories. Yeah. That's never happened. I never forget. Okay, anything else? Or should I say goodnight? We're at the 2-hour mark exactly. Awesome. Poke says, please, I'd take some rock on trade. Take some rock on a trade. So, does anyone have anything to trade with Hippie Mike? Anybody gonna trade with Hippie Mike? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? I'll wait to see if you get any responses. What else is there in the chat? If I missed your question, I apologize. I'm going to see if I can get further back in the chat and see if there's any questions. Sometimes YouTube doesn't let me go back too far. Yeah. I need to write that down. I need to write what your new YouTube name is. Let's see. It's a complicated username there, Hippie Mike. Poked. Her. Poke. I'll just do ... on that one. Okay. I gotta try to remember that. See, I'll just do that. Try to remember that's you. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay, what else we got? Jim Cooper says, I got obsidian flakes to trade for rough rock. I'll double the weight. Yeah, there you go. Hippie Mike is from northeastern Colorado. Right? He's got moss agate from northeastern Colorado. So, let me see. Are you going to trade some obsidian? Cool. You guys have each other's information? I think Jim Cooper has a YouTube channel. Just look up Jim Cooper's YouTube channel. Yeah. And leave him a message or a comment. Jim Cooper says moss agate is a bit of a pain, needs to be sawn and cooked. Jim Cooper says he doesn't have a saw. Okay, so no deal. Apparently, I don't know. Is that it? Everybody left? No, we still got 64 viewers. No, 44 viewers. So yeah, I'll wait a little bit longer. If you guys want to trade. Anybody else? Anybody? Yeah, chew sinew with a side of antibiotics. Oh yeah. Randy says, why we never found any wood staff from spears, only the arrowheads? Because wood dissolves over time, right? Very quickly compared to stone. Stone doesn't dissolve at all. But wood gets rotten and it gets absorbed into the soil pretty much. Yeah. It doesn't last very long and when it gets buried in the soil. You know, these organic materials like bone and wood, antler and stuff, they don't last. But stone lasts almost forever. After you boil it, it should be okay as far as sinew. Well, yeah, but it still contains toxins. It still can make you feel blah, even if you boil something that was rotten and put it. You can put it in your mouth and it won't kill you, right? But it still might make you feel weird if it has toxins from the bacteria. It's not just living bacteria that upset your immune system. It's those certain toxins. Let's see. Just a random Bigfoot. Oh, and y'all are looking for sinew. Ryan Gill sells some on his website for quite cheap. That's where I buy mine. Yeah, there you go. WS, how is there a petrified forest? That blows my mind. Yeah, well, I mean, trees popped up way back millions of years ago. So they fall down into the rivers and oceans and all that. And from there, they get petrified. The wood gets replaced with minerals. As the wood decays, minerals move in to the spots where they decay. And eventually the wood disappears, but the minerals stay and become crystallized. Let's see. Feathered Frontiersman. I almost got my point done. It's dark now, but I haven't been watching. It looks like a caramel Wintu. Yeah. I didn't show that. It's not translucent though. Right? It's a fox ear. But it's not translucent. It's a jasper. It's like a peanut butter jasper type stuff. Oh, there you go. This is semi-translucent. That's surprising. So I thought it was a jasper. So it's more like a chert because of the translucency. Yeah. Okay. I forgot to check that. Very interesting. Turned out nice. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Rock knife. Bro, how did you do that? Well, you got to watch the whole live stream. You can go back to the beginning and you'll see I started with something that looked similar to this. I just chipped it very carefully and over a long period of time. I think it took me over an hour to do it. So you can see the whole process and you know exactly how it's done. If you just go back to the beginning, you can even speed it up. After the live stream's over and you go back to the beginning, you can speed it up and you can watch the whole thing really, really fast. Like some people can't stand sitting there watching it in real time, so they speed it up. Is that it? How do you make a chisel points? Are they used for turkey, deer, wild stuff? The chisel points, they're used for everything. They're just easy to make compared to this style. The chisel points are like cheater points. Yeah. I've said that before. I don't know if you're the same, if you asked that question before. The chisel points are easy to make. The ones that have the flat tops, right? They don't have points. They have just a flat chisel. They're used for everything. They're just easy to make. And they do damage for sure. Yeah, they're used for everything. Wow, that's weird. I liked it. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Rock knife. I've been trying to find out how it's hard. Do I use, what tool do I need for this to make it? Just watch my videos. You can do a search for my tools. You just do Jack Crafty tools as a search. You type it in, Jack Crafty tools, and hit enter for a search, and it'll come up with some of my tools videos. That's the quickest way I can tell you. Mike Bullard, this is Hippie Mike. Uh-oh. Why are you using two 2 usernames. This is confusing. Do you have 2 usernames, Mike? Let's see. I need to write that down. Or are there 2 hippie mics? There better not be 2 hippie mics. They're using the same names. All right. Let's see. Oh, dang. Let's see. At Mike Bullard. So why are you using 2 usernames? Just curious. Let's see. Jesse says a chisel point comes off a blade core narrowed down on the side, leaves that 45-degree angle on the tip from a prismatic blade. Yep. Just a random Bigfoot. Oh, Pat, do you have any insight on why you would have to stone knife and not just use the blade as is? Yeah. The main complaint about using the blades as is it slips out of your hand easily, especially when butchering. If you got blood and fat, it's hard to hold on to the stone. So that's why they have handles. I mean, it's actually not a very fancy reason. It's just it's harder to handle the stone when you're butchering. It's slippery. Let's see. WS, actually kill a deer with a chisel point? Yes, I'd be worried about hitting a rib bone. Well, the rib bones on deer are not very strong. So as long as you have a strong bow, there's nothing to worry about. It doesn't take much. Even if you hit solidly onto a deer bone, it'll break the bone. It'll go right through. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Hey, Marty YB is here. Hippie Mike says, yeah, my accounts have been messed up. Okay, so you have 2 accounts. But you said, nope, it's me. See, this is good. This, I don't know. Is someone using your name? Just a random Bigfoot. Yeah, to be worried about chisel point wouldn't penetrate. Jay Johnson says, hi. Will the real hippie Mike please stand up? Yes, I know. This is weird. Let's see. Mike Bullard, because I've been in the hospital, try not to die? I have a feeling that someone's using your name. Lance says, I have 2 usernames also. I use the other name on my metal detecting channel. I see. Marty YB says, I used your notcher method today and flattened a 20-penny nail with a hammer. It works pretty good. Awesome. Okay, so you got no phone or computer. Says Hippie Mike. Katanas have handles. Trust the science. Yeah. Lance McElwain. See, this is my other account. Oh, I see. Okay. I see this. I see a guy, his arrow went through a deer spine and it was chert and self-made. The arrow was still intact. Through a deer spine and the arrow was still intact? Wow. Mike Bullard. No, just me from northeastern Colorado. Yeah, I think there's 2 different people here. Attorney Bailey's here. Hey. Feathered Frontiersman. Do people celebrate Pioneer Day out there? I don't think so. Not here in Vermont, anyway. Jim Cooper says, I've worked on a couple of historic katanas. Very laborious process. Dang. Rock Knife says, okay, thanks for the info. It was really useful, and I tried it with a different kind of tool. Thanks. I'm making it for my mom and dad and other family members because I have a lot of rocks. Sweet. Oops. Let's see. Mike Bullard, Beecher Island guy. WS. Yeah, on YouTube he has the bone and arrow still in the spine in a cylinder. Lance McElwain, I'm actually watching you on both my channels, so you got a double like from me. Haha, cool. Very cool. All right, I'm going to say goodnight if there's no more questions. Beautiful side notch today. My favorite shape with the recessed base, big wings. Yep. Alrighty. Good night. Yep, good night, everybody. I'm going to say good night. I'm just waiting to see what else. Okay, yep, good night, everybody. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.